Hello everyone, welcome to an all new edition of The Take on this Thursday, April 23rd, 2020. Here on The Take, we're the at-home edition of The Take. Thank you all for watching. I'm your host, Kendrick Dix, as always. Thank you all once again. And thank you all. We're at home during this pandemic, and we want to make sure that people who are suffering, who are trying to get through life, come through it better than ever. And we're going to be here with you here on Connect, and we want to make sure that we want to put that message out there. Whatever you're going through, we're going to be there with you. We're going to get through this, and we're going to get through this as well we can. Thank you. But first things first, join in the conversation using the hashtag Take here on Connect. Join in that conversation, as The Take is the hub of social media. So let's get to what's going on with the big story. The big story this week is, are Southern governors losing their minds? Yes. Governors of Florida, Georgia, Tennessee want to reopen businesses and get back to normalcy. But the CDC and some other health experts saying that's not a great idea. But let's get with Georgia Governor Brian Kemp, who decided that he wants to do a press conference with this.
What do you say to those people who say this is too soon? You're taking these steps too early.
Well, look, I'm following the advice of public health officials and the data. If we meet the criteria, I think it's a measured step. I've been doing measured steps the whole time going into this, and now we're going to do that going out.
Monday evening, I spoke exclusively, one-on-one with Georgia Governor Brian Kemp about his plan to get Georgia back to work. Governor, what about the data made you convinced that this is the time to take these steps?
Well, I think really just trying to get, comfortable with what our data was showing, what Dr. Toomey was telling us, and where we fit into the phase one of the president's plan to meet the guidelines to kind of move into this.
A critical piece of that decision, the change of the date when Georgia is predicted to need the most hospital resources because of COVID-19. New models reveal we may have peaked 5 days ago.
The model changed here into last week. It really, I think, sped up our thinking a little bit. I mean, we were already thinking in this direction, but obviously when you have a model that says the peak was behind you, we started asking those questions, why is that? And through those explanations, it just got me in a good place to put the announcement up today. Look, we still got a few days before it happens. We need people to continue to buckle down and follow the guidelines and physical and social distancing, and we'll keep moving into a better place.
A big part of the state's ability to free more bed space in our hospitals included delaying elective medical procedures and creating a 200-bed hospital at the Georgia World Congress Center. Now, Governor Kemp says there is space for Georgians to have those important medical procedures done.
Definitely better prepared to respond than we were a month ago. I mean, we have, the makeshift hospital facility, 200 beds in the metro area. We've stood up, other facilities around the state, or we're in the process of doing that. Our hospital, I have had elite conversation with hospital CEOs, especially here in the metro area. Their bed count is going down because they haven't been doing a lot of these procedures. And I asked them about elective procedures to build revenue and to get some of this work. And plus you have patients out there, that are in a lot of pain because they need a hip replacement, or you got kids that need their wisdom teeth out. And if you keep waiting, that'll be detrimental, or harder surgery. So we want to allow those things to happen.
What about the concern that with all these people heading back into the world, that we're going to start seeing the cases all over again and be in a worse situation than maybe we are right now?
Well, I would be cautious to say everybody's heading back into the world, because this is not just, throwing the keys and open things up, business as usual. As I said in my remarks, people are going to have to follow guidelines. We're only opening certain businesses up this Friday. We're going to let the restaurants start gearing back up on Monday, but they're going to have to adhere to the guidelines. It's going to be a new way of doing business. I don't think that'll be sustainable for them long term. But look, to get them up and going, to get them some revenue generated so they can hopefully save their business, I felt like that was very appropriate.
The governor did not rule out putting new orders in place if we see a rise of COVID-19 cases after Georgians quit sheltering in place.
I said in my remarks today, if we start having flare-ups or problems that really get out of control, then we'll take further action to reel that in. But right now we're prepared, to have people that get the virus. What we want to do is limit the people that are, really can be hammered by this disease, and that's those elderly folks. And that's why we're continuing to focus and even throw more resources at our long-term care facilities, not only with cleaning and protocols on infectious disease, but also with testing.
You saw that right there. Georgia Governor Brian Kemp wanted to do a press conference and do it to his ability to say that businesses should be opening, that Georgians, his fellow Georgians, should not be suffering, and they should be getting back to normal and making the revenue back over again and restart their economy. But health experts saying this is not a great idea. Even Atlanta mayor thought that the Georgia governor went over his head with this.
Evening. Talk about the governor's decision today. Did you know this was coming? And what are your feelings about this, reopening the state of Georgia as early as Friday?
So I didn't know it was coming. And obviously the governor is the governor, and he certainly has the prerogative to make orders that he deems appropriate. He did not consult with me. I don't know what the reasoning and data that the governor used to make this decision was, because I have not spoken with him, but I did not know in advance. I saw the announcement watching Channel 2 like the rest of Georgia.
Mm-hmm. Do you agree? You think it's too soon, or do you think we're ready?
Jovita, the governor and I have traditionally had a very good working relationship. So with all due respect, I can say I don't agree with this order. But again, I don't know what the governor is basing this on. To the extent that we've had any success with numbers, I would venture to say it's because we've been very aggressive in the actions that we've taken. What I know is that we still are not testing asymptomatic and people with mild symptoms. So I don't think that we have a very clear picture of what our real numbers are. As of 7 p.m. today, I believe we had a death spike over 13%. And so our numbers are still going up. Where we're seeing our numbers really spike are in areas that were slow to close down, like Bibb County. And so it concerns me when you talk about opening up houses of worship, and we know that our worst outbreak in the state came from 2 funerals. By and large, in Albany, Georgia, you get your hair done, I get my hair done. I don't know how you socially distance when someone is doing your hair or doing your nails, giving you a massage. So these things are concerning to me, but I do hope that I'm wrong and the governor is right, because if he's wrong, more people can die.
And you just today announced sort of an advisory panel to help talk about this for the city of Atlanta. Why did you put together that panel? What are your concerns about the city before deeming it open?
Well, I wanted us to have input and information from a cross-section of people, certainly from our business leaders in the state, but also from our public health officials. The best example I received was from Dr. Carlos Del Rio at Emory University. He said it's like climbing Mount Everest. You're getting to a peak, but as many people die coming off of that peak as they do climbing that peak. Just because we've had one peak doesn't mean that we won't have another peak.
Atlanta mayor, you just say, I don't know her name, but she's saying that this is going too far, and the governor, she's against it because she don't want the citizens of Atlanta to be suffering more of this coronavirus, of this pandemic, killing more people. And, she's got a point, but he's being more defiant than ever when people ask him this.
I can tell you, I don't give a damn about politics right now. We're talking about somebody that has put their whole life into building a business that has people that they love and work with every single day, working in many of these places, that are at home going broke, worried about whether they can feed their children, make the mortgage payment. These are tough decisions, no doubt.
I still have my voice, and I will continue to use my voice to encourage people to exercise common sense, listen to the science, and stay home. We are not out of the woods.
The Georgia governor even took his stance and defended his controversial remarks or his decision to reopen business. And he took it to one place on this.
We are having, record vacancies in our hospitals right now because we were getting ready for the surge. They are bleeding money and they need help as well as, our local business owners
I understand
do.
that.
So we're prepared for, what may come with this, and we're prepared to act. We're ramping up testing. I talked extensively about that in my press conference on Monday. We have almost 3,000 National Guard troops that are cleaning long-term care facilities. They got 10 mobile testing sites so we can go to hot spots, whether it's long-term care, other vulnerable populations in the state.
Yeah.
And them doing this is going to allow our public health officials to do contact tracing, which is another part of the plan that Dr. Burks talked about.
Yeah, Florida, the Georgia governor went on Fox News to state his claim and saying that this is why he's doing what he need to do. But even the governor of Alabama thinking something differently. She wants to extend it to April 30th, which that's her right. But hey, you know how they go. This is just, to my opinion, it's just a whole mess because let's see how this, let's make sure the curve goes down, not go back up. So we will see how this all plays out. I just don't think the Georgia governor is going too far too soon, and he's not thinking about the citizens of his own state and their well-being to get things moving. And then once everything comes back to normal, once the CDC tells us everything's going back to normal to flatten the curve, then we can move forward. So, we're talking about, look at this list right here. Talking about gyms, hair massage, hair salons, tattoo places, massages, all of them back open. It's too early, too quick. So, I don't know if he doing this for a profit or for his constituents, but he ain't gonna really tell you because that's what he's doing it for. The people who's, his constituents saying, do this or else. You know how they go. We're losing money because of this, but look, I realize lives are losing. People are losing their lives during this coronavirus. We got to take this thing real serious. Real serious. Are you a fan of the 90s New Jack Swing era music? Well, mega producers Swiss Beats and Timbaland gained together and decided to join forces ventures we call Versus. It's like some little online music battle where they get people together. Well, they thought of a quick scheme of putting Babyface and Teddy Riley. Remember, Teddy Riley, Babyface from the New Jack Swing era. They went hit for hit in a legendary Instagram battle where producers, waged war, but it left the internet battle.
Raekwon is hilarious in the comments to this battle. Babyface played Ready or Not by After 7, and Raekwon said, I used to rob people to this. Who robs people to Ready or Not? If you know how Ready or Not, I'll give you everything. Damn right you will, son. But the funniest thing is, he asked him, has he ever worked with Luther Vandals? Who is Luther Vandals? That sounds like a Grand Theft Auto character that didn't make the game. Luther Vandals sound like a public defender that only deal with high-profile jaywalk cases. Luther Vandals sound like a second-round pick that should have came out after his junior year, but he stayed in school because he promised his mom he'd get his degree. Luther Vandals sound like the pastor of a missionary Baptist church with 17 members and 13 chairs. If you don't get a seat, I guess you were usher this week. But the question we all was wondering when you asked him about Luther Vandals, was you asking about Little Luther or Big Luther Vandals?
Here we go, everybody.
I even brought my red Kool-Aid for that because I knew he was going to play that. So.
All right. Well.
When you jamming that hard, it's hard for me to answer stuff like that. But I'm just going to do my best.
When can I see you again, babe?
I'm going to tell you that it is not fair. It's okay. We're going to do a little something like this.
It's going down, fade to Black Street with the homies Black Street and Teddy.
With that, this was just one of them songs I was glad to be a part of. I don't know, I can't really find the words. I'm honored to be in here with you, man.
My big brother, this is the best day.
Riley had to get his stuff together, his shit together. But Babyface had his. He was smooth. He was like a cucumber. Cool as a cucumber. He was smooth. He played his hits. But Teddy Riley was trying to do too much, do extra and stuff. It was making it seem like a show, but it couldn't be a show. He just could have just waited. But that's how Teddy Riley thinks. He just want to be all there extra, and then it cost him that. Cost him in the long run. All right. In celebrity news, Queen Elizabeth of the UK celebrates her 94th birthday. Queen Elizabeth celebrated 94th birthday with this. Well, the Queen is up there. She almost 100 years old. At 94 years old, still looking, prim, proper, and still looking royalty as the royal Zeus or something like that. But her grandson, Prince Harry, and his wife Meghan are just into living in Los Angeles with this.
The legal team filed new papers on Monday morning in her case against a British newspaper. So in case you need a refresher here, Meghan is suing Publishers Associated Newspapers and the Mail on Sunday for publishing extracts of what she describes as a private and confidential letter that she sent to her father, Thomas Markle, 3 months after her wedding to Prince Harry.
The Mail on Sunday says that Thomas revealed the contents of the letter after a friend had told People of its existence. Meghan's new statement says she did not authorize her friends to speak to People. The legal papers add that if she had authorized the interviews, she would have told her friends not to talk about the letter and its contents.
The new legal papers also outline the extent to which she and Harry messaged and called Thomas after he fell ill days before their wedding. The papers reveal Meghan messaged him, "I've called and texted, but haven't heard back from you, so hoping you're okay." The papers say that Meghan tried to protect her father from heightened press intrusion and scrutiny.
The papers also reveal that Harry texted and called Thomas days before the wedding after Thomas decided not to attend. Harry wrote in part, quote, "If you love Meg and want to make it right, please call me, as there are 2 other options which don't involve you having to speak to the media. Meg and I are not angry. We just need to speak to you." That was his quote.
And for more insight into Meghan and Harry's...
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle doing charity work and trying to do meals and stuff. But we'll see how this all plays out with Prince Harry and Meghan playing charity and doing this and stuff. But Megan even got a new movie role, so I guess they're adjusting to the new lifestyle in LA. Like Megan been there, she's been living in LA for all her life. She wanted to come back home. She was homesick from England. Now she's back in LA. I don't know about Harry. If Harry's homesick, we will know. Knowing him, he's been growing up in Britain for long. He's homesick, but he's a little bit excited that he can able to branch out a little bit. Also, there's new reports that Alex Rodriguez and his fiancee Jennifer Lopez are exploring a bid to become the new owners of the New York Mets, the baseball team franchise. With J-Lo and A-Rod, baseball owners, well, they're getting with J.P. Morgan Chase with this.
Jennifer Lopez and Alex Rodriguez are hoping to hit a home run with their latest business venture. According to Variety, the power couple has teamed up with JP Morgan Chase to raise capital for a possible bid on the New York Mets. The pair is said to be working with managing director Eric Mennel, who serves as the company's co-head of North American media investment banking. The Wilpon family are the current owners of the Major League Baseball team. In December, they announced plans to sell up to 80% of the Mets in a deal that valued the organization at $2.6 billion. But those negotiations ultimately fell apart. Though Alex famously played 12 seasons with the New York Yankees, he previously considered signing with the Mets as a free agent in 2000. If the rumored idea comes to fruition, the retired MLB superstar would be in good company with former teammate Derek Jeter, who is part owner of the Miami Marlins. This wouldn't be the first time J-Lo and A-Rod have joined forces to make major money moves. The Lovebirds, who have a combined net worth of over $800 million, have also partnered to launch the FitPlan personal training app, as well as food delivery service Tiller and Hatch. Jennifer previously told People magazine, "Everything that we do together. He knows my dreams and I know his dreams, and together we feel like we're stronger. We're constantly supporting each other in our individual endeavors and thinking about all the things that we can build to."
J-Lo, a baseball owner, and A-Rod, they'll be the superpower baseball couple. They'll make dominance and stuff. But we'll see how this all plays out in the long haul between J-Lo and A-Rod being baseball owners. It's a good investment. A-Rod known for turning revenue, making a profit. So you never know. All right. On talk shows this week. On the Wendy Williams show. Wendy Williams is still at home being bored, talking crazy as normal like she used to, as she is a no. But she talked about the most ridiculous stuff with this.
We really honestly do need something to do. It's just that for me, my particular thing is watching the news. This coronavirus and what's going on, like I'm obsessed with the news. When I want distraction, I watch sitcoms. I watch sitcoms and I watch crime TV. And, I'm really concerned about what's going to happen in summer. This is only towards the end of April. People are already shutting stuff down. It seems like Governor Murphy in Jersey has shut down the entire Jersey Shore. Here in New York, they're considering shutting down pools and beaches. What are people going to do for fun? There are going to be no parades, the ones that we love. The Pride Parade. It's celebrating its 50th year this year. I had the best time on the float last summer on the 49th parade. I'm sad. There's going to be no Pride Parade. There's not going to be an Israel parade. There's not going to be a Puerto Rican Day parade. What is summer without parades, beaches, open fire hydrants?
Yeah, Wendy Williams talking ridiculous that she ain't going to no events. You can tell Wendy Williams is a extrovert. She just like to get out. She ain't no introvert. She's there for now, but she feels like she has to move around, switch around. To my gay pride events. It's more important than you're being quarantined, isolated, than going on was that they can postpone and go another day once this thing, gets back to normal. Just Then, Ellen DeGeneres, they're saying reports too about Ellen, about not paying her employees. And she and her staff. You can tell, looking at Ellen, she's going crazy too. All of them going crazy. They don't know. They so used to being out there. Now, they don't want to do it at home. But hey, when you talk to a host or a celebrity, what you used to, and you normally want to do that, but it just don't fit those circumstances. All right, we'll be back with more tape on the way. This is the Tape at Home edition. Stay tuned. Back to the Tape. I'm your host as always, Kendrick's here. Glad you can join us here on the Tape. Glad you can join us here on our quarantine at home edition of the Tape here on Connect. We want you to stay safe. Hey, enjoy this show, enjoy anything that we do on Connect TV, because that's what we do. We care for you. We want you to be safe, sound, wash your hands. But first thing first, join in the conversation. Use the hashtag Tape here on Connect. So we are the Tape, the hub of pop culture, entertainment moments of the week. All right, let's continue on with the political rundown. This week, the war of worlds continues on with President Trump and Andrew Cuomo of New York, the governor, and they had a conference and they clashed on who can restart the economy at this he say drama. Watch this.
When somebody's the president of the United States, the authority is total. And that's the way it's got to be.
But it is true that it's up to the governors to make decisions about the executive orders that we've put in place.
We don't have a king, we have a president.
Who's the boss during a pandemic? This is the InsideEdition.com coronavirus news for April 14th, 2020. President Trump and prominent governors are spatting over when lockdown orders are lifted and who gets to say so. Illinois' governor spelled it out in a press conference.
We want to lift these orders as soon as we can. We want to get things back to more normal as soon as we can. But one thing that we have to pay attention to is what direction are these curves going, and what is the advice that we're getting from, again, the scientists and the doctors who know more about immunology and about all the issues of COVID-19 than an elected official who's not a doctor.
New York's governor put it more bluntly.
It's not the law, it's not the Constitution. We don't have a king, we have a president.
The president disagrees.
The authority of the president of the United States having to do with the subject we're talking about is total.
Governors are assembling multi-state councils to make decisions, while the White House is forming its own committee on reopening the economy. It's a battle that will likely continue.
Looks like the president and the governors still on that debate on who can start the economy. Well, the president saying that he don't want no responsibility of what's going on in these different states. That's his right and that's his judgment, but he wants to restart the economy and get it back going. That's why he sent the stimulus checks. But a lot of people are thinking that the stimulus checks will help put America back in the economy. But I hope he knows what he's doing. He better not think that people will actually vote for him just because he gave away stimulus checks. You got to be a little bit smarter than that, Mr. President. Because if you give away stimulus checks, hey, some people might need them for relief. And others just like, oh, okay, well, I'll take it as I go and, move on and save it for the rainy day. That's what it's all about. But I feel people's pain that's going through, like small businesses, people that's on the verge of, losing a house, losing a car, and verge of, not paying their bills. You can feel sorry for them because they need it. And it's just so, it's so heartbreaking to see that. All right. Speaking of that, on news is this week, man. Speaking of that, it's this pastor from Louisiana. His name is Pastor Tony Spell, and he urges people to do this.
I was arrested by the Central Police Department this morning. I was led into a trap. A half a dozen officers handcuffed me. put me in the back of the car, and booked me into East Baton Rouge Parish Prison.
Embattled Pastor Tony Spell planned a news conference Tuesday morning. As he approached reporters, Central Police officers approached him. He points and says something to the officer, then walks in another direction.
He wanted to have his news conference.
And before he can make it to the waiting microphones, he's put in cuffs.
We're not out here for a news conference. We have a job to do.
Spell is charged with assault after this incident with a protester caught on camera Sunday, along with 2 outstanding bench warrants for traffic violations.
I think that the Central Police Department is trying to close down the church. They have not been able to do so. And so they took a complaint from someone who was obviously biased against the church and ran with it.
His congregation creating a spectacle in the adjacent parking lot to the EBR Parish Prison. There they stood praying and worshiping while Spell awaited his bail. Shortly after, bail money arrived and Spell was bonded out. $5,000 later, Spell walked free.
I want to give hope to every Christian in this nation today. You don't let anybody take your rights to go to church. You don't let anybody take your rights to assemble.
Stand strong.
You stand strong. And don't ever forget that Jesus Christ is the Savior of this world.
Spell is continuing to stand by his defiant statements in the middle of a global pandemic.
I will not give up my right to have church. I will not give up my rights to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ.
One of his parishioners has COVID-19. The other died from complications of the virus.
I will see you in church tonight at 7:30.
Man, if you up your other line, you think people gonna donate their stimulus checks to you and they need it the most, then you trying to say help other people who they need. Oh, you ain't you a church? Ain't you a non-profit church? You take your money and you help those people. I can see people saying, close comment like, hey, could you help me? If you don't mind helping me, they gonna pay you back or they're not gonna pay you back. That happens. You get people they'll, try to say that they're gonna pay you back and actually don't pay you back. And those people, you just have to be like, okay, you helped. That's all that matters, but you ain't gonna get your money back. But end of the day, that's another different time, different story. But this pastor is too corrupt. He looks like he's crooked, and it's gonna show. He talking about taking your own stimulus check that you might need to help somebody else. Which, if that was the case, you'll do it if they were sincere about it. But this pastor look crooked, and I tell people now, don't give your money to no pastor when he should be able to he donate to whatever, but he looked at crooked to me. You remember the other pastor? Yeah, it's that one. Yeah. Speaking of that, on news let's get to a good story, the bad story. Beyonce's daughter, Blue Ivy Carter, had disappointing memories aiming the coronavirus pandemic. Take a look.
Hey y'all. And since we're stuck at home, I have this little DIY experiment that you can do at home too. This is why it's important to wash your hands.
Listen up, Blue Ivy has an important message.
So I have a mixture of a lot of different types of soap inside of this. And this is the coronavirus or any virus. It's actually just pepper. So you're going to want to stick your finger inside of the mixture of soaps. Make sure you get a lot on there. Then put your finger in it and the virus goes out. This is why it's very important to wash your hands.
On Saturday, Blue's grandma, Tina Lawson, posted a video of the 8-year-old schooling us on why it's so important to wash your hands during the coronavirus pandemic.
Because if you wash your hands will stay clean. But if you keep your hands dirty, you might get sick.
Miss Tina captioned the adorable video, quote, My brilliant granddaughter, Blue, did this experiment to show how washing your hands fights the virus. Before Blue signed off, she had one more thing to say.
Peace out. I hope you guys are staying safe. Wash your hands extra and please stay at home. Love y'all. Bye.
Yeah, Beyonce, dog, educating the world, educating people to, wash your hands and do that. And you know what? Beyonce got a smart daughter. She's gonna do something. I hope she become a scientist or something. But she looks like she's into science. And they always say with the coronavirus, the bubbles, you know what I'm saying? The virus kills the bubbles. So hey, it works. Beyonce daughter leading the forefront on that. All right. And on the reality show clip now this week. All right. Many of you know that I didn't even know it was the season finale of The Real Housewives of Atlanta, where Nene and Kenya continued engaged in their ongoing battle. And they brought the battle to Candy's baby shower with this.
They were separated. That's why I'm having to bounce my ass over here and bounce over there and bounce over there. All night. They coming over here now.
Either better come through with them lashes. Them lashes is everything. Kenya is a piece of work, but I personally will not let her derail me off of my spiritual journey.
Read me what this. It's a Googler. What does that say?
Child.
Yes, it says Kenya Moore, Nene's a bully with no friends. Let the shade throwing begin. This probably is fake, right? No, it's not fake, and you know it's not fake because they have video. I don't know, I wasn't here. You've seen it. So you think Nene's a bully? Always been. Always will be. That's right. Nene tried to spit on me.
No, I did not. Let's be very clear, bully. You don't put plenty of people in this circle, okay? Plenty of people.
Yes,
Plenty of people. Plenty of people. Plenty of people.
I get this, but everybody's leaving, and I never even got to introduce my surrogate. This is taking over.
Nene and Kenya brought the battle on, arguing amongst Candy, and Candy was talking about she ain't having it. But Candy, you invited to, so you knew it was going to go down this way. Come on there, Candy. You know when it's going to go down. So we had to see when the reunion comes and how far these two women going to go when it's not face to face, but it's going to be virtually face to face. I'm even surprised Kenya got like an online debate. But Kenya sent this message on the Ricky Smiley Morning Show about her ordeal with Nene. Take a look. Yeah, Kenya and Nene, the anticipation is cut. You can cut it through a knife. You know I said, cut it through a knife. You can tell. You know what's gonna happen. You know the battle will go down sooner rather than later. I'm telling you. All right, and finally, the viral video of the week. The viral video of the week is this one healthcare worker stands tall and defies the odds with this. Yes, the healthcare worker is still trying to make a point, make a stand, push point across that he's in this battle and he's going to win this battle. And he wants the people to understand to quarantine. And some people just don't get it. That woman with the sign, come on, lady, come on. You gotta be better than that. But you know how they go. I'm saying, but I can admire that work, what he's going through. All right. Thank you all for watching the Take at Home edition. I've been your host, Kendra Dick, saying so long. Be safe, wash your hands, and we can get through this together. Thank you all. We'll see you next week for another edition of The Tape. See you later.